Hello everyone and welcome back to round 15 of season 2 of our F125 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here at the ZANDVOORT circuit, of course, for the Dutch Grand Prix. But unlike normal Dutch Grand Prix, today we're running this one in reverse. Yes, after doing kind of the different style format of the other reverse races, I thought it was only fair to do one of them as kind of like a normal weekend inside F125. That, and also just the normal Dutch Grand Prix, I find mind-numbingly boring inside the F1 games. But of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from, I believe it was the Hungaroring, go back, check it out. It was actually quite an interesting one, which is pretty good going for Hungary inside the F1 games. As you can see, championship-wise, we are currently P9 with Isaac Hadjar, P11 with Yuki Tsunoda, and pretty comfortably P5 in the constructors' standings as well. We're still steadily bringing upgrades to the car as well. As you can see, we are, again, basically tied with Alpine and Aston Martin at the moment there. But yeah, I've pretty much ran out of upgrades that I can actually do at the moment inside this game. I'm still going on behind the scenes trying to do all the facility upgrades that I possibly can, but they're just taking a lot of time. It seems like there's a bit of a balancing, I would say, issue with them inside the game. I think all of the upgrades that they, the cost of the upgrades should take a lot longer. I think the time-wise is okay, but could be made a little bit shorter as well, just because, yeah, we're kind of just waiting around for stuff. I've got so much cash in the bank, I just can't really use it at the moment as well, which is a little bit of a shame. But of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We're trying to hit 150k at the moment. Also, if you want early access to all of these videos, you can click the join button down below for just £1 a month. Like I said, you get early access as well as a few other exclusive little perks, and it's a really nice way to support us here with all the work we're doing. But yeah, without further ado then, let's return here to ZANDVOORT. This place is wild, running the wrong way round.
Just look at that sea of orange. No surprises if I tell you we're here in Holland at ZANDVOORT for the Max Verstappen celebration party. It's a quick track and perfect for high speeds, high stakes qualifying. Welcome along to the Dutch Grand Prix qualifying day.
Well, this circuit then, just from doing free practice, there's not a chance that they would ever allow this to run in real life. This has got to be the most dangerous venue Formula 1 has come to in a long old while inside the series, but it is also going to be a circuit where fortune favours the brave. Not only on a Sunday afternoon where the points are distinct, but also on Saturday as well, because I really cannot see many places to go overtaking around this circuit. It is meant to be a nice sunny dry weekend though, so hopefully it's going to be a little bit better than the reverse race we did at Silverstone. But just making our way through the first couple of corners, our free practice time's actually looking very, very competitive up towards the front of the order as well, so that's what I'm really hoping for here. But just trying to get a lap hooked up can be so difficult. See, they're really struggling with the rear end of the car, and then trying to use as much battery through the second half of the lap as we possibly can. They're completely wide open as we make our way up through the top of the hill. Get all the way up into 8th gear then before you're on the anchors down in towards what is normally the bank turn 3. Just allow the camber to kind of carry you through, and then nice and tidy on the throttle once again. One more corner to go. Hopefully this time is going to immediately put us up into Q2 then. As we try and get the power down, it's going to be a 1:08.5. We go P3. Well, there we are then, taking a look at our Q1 time. Charles Leclerc there, he seems to be a man full of confidence. A 1:07.7, goes 8/10 clear of Lando Norris. But Lando, George, and myself all covered by less than 1/100th of a second here. Carlos Sainz looking very competitive as well. Isaac Hadjar, importantly, will make it through into Q2 there, but I don't think we'll see Q3, as no real surprises. Your bottom 3 teams all out in Q1. George Russell then has gone and moved that benchmark set by Charles even lower. 1:07.2 now, so the circuit, I believe, ramping up as well just a little bit here as we head into Q2. But again, I mean, this place is such a roller coaster to try and get a lap hooked up normally. It's even scarier this way around, as you're actively trying to get as close to the grass through that corner. Often been finding on laps that have actually been dipping a wheel out into it. I reckon if I nailed it, a 107 should be possible, but there's no guarantee. Bizarrely, one of the issues I'm actually finding around here is running out of battery, which I guess ZANDVOORT, there aren't normally that many big braking zones around this venue, and I guess there's kind of even less this way around. Most of the corners now are long, fast and flowing then, as we just dip a wheel on the grass out of the final corner. That is going to be a 108.1, so we improve again, but I think, yeah, Max Verstappen, the Mercedes, the Ferraris, as always, they are just too quick to compete against. And there we go, you can see George Russell a 107.233 there. Rapid lap times coming in by our front runners. Hats off though to Jack Doohan, who makes it into Q3, I believe for the first time this season there, as neither McLaren ends up making it through, so they'll be very disappointed. It does definitely feel like on these reverse tracks, the AI, especially in real qualifying, now I'm actually doing one, there can seem to be a few more surprises coming through. You know, like we said, McLaren really struggling here. Carlos Sainz out. But who will claim pole position? And will we see any of our front runners go into the 106s? Well, as everybody heads back out then, ready for their final laps of anger, this is going to be just over a minute that you really want to watch.
You're now in P7.
Honestly, I'm happy with P7. We've basically gone quicker than every car I would expect to by the end of this session, but will we stay here and can I dip into the 107s? Max Verstappen slower than his teammate Esteban Ocon at the moment, so he'll be looking to try and get a big improvement by the end of this. So we just dip a wheel on that grass through the exit of turn 2 there, try and carry the speed up through here and get on that throttle nice and early, use that curbing on the outside to carry the momentum off of the corner, braking at about 80 meters out in towards this next hairpin. Try to leave the car in 4th gear, and the time is slowly coming to us. Flick it in pretty much at the 50-meter ball, but again, be very, very careful as you try and get on the loud pedal on the exit. Completely flat through that one. Completely flat up through here as well. In fact, using the battery just to carry the wheel speed up through the top of the circuit there, as we're still in P7 at the moment. There are a lot of improvements coming in, as Charles Leclerc now down to a 107.1. Oscar Piastri's done it though, a 106.9. Ridiculous lap times from our top runners. I've got no idea how much I'm improving by at the moment as we try to avoid the grass on the exit. We're going to find another 0.4 of a second. We stay P7, but I got into the 107s. Well, it really does feel like we're back in an F1 2018-esque era in Formula 1 at the moment. Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, all comfortably clear of everybody else there. But Oscar Piastri, a 106.964 there. Absolutely ridiculous lap. Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull inside your top 4. Happy that we had basically half a second over Franco Colapinto behind. The car is working really, really well here. Let's see what happens as we head into the race.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside in races across Europe. Here this weekend, it's even easier to find the Dutch fans as they have a race to call their own once again. A warm welcome to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe, of course, as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Verstappen, Esteban Ocon, and Norris, Tsunoda, Colapinto, Albon, and Jack Doohan, Sainz, Behrman, Pierre Gasly, and Stroll, Hadjar, Antonelli, Jack Crawford, and Nico Hülkenberg, Aaron, Bortoletto, Lawson, and Pepe Marti rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the Dutch Grand Prix, of course. Luckily today, doesn't seem to be a chance of rain around the circuit, but this place can be really, really tough on tyres, and I think it's going to be even worse this afternoon on the reverse layout. We're going to try and take the mediums as far as we can, then bolt on a set of hards to see us hopefully through to the checkered flag here. But a long, long run now in towards the first braking zone. Looks like everybody around me is on a set of the soft compound tyres. 5 red lights are on. And it is going to be lights out, and away we go then. And, well, that long run might really damage us now, as Albon and Colapinto both trying to get a run on me in towards that first corner. Through the banking of one we will go. And we've lost at least one spot here. I'm going to try and keep it around the outside. Whoa, of Alexander Albon there, and luckily we will just about manage that then, as everybody just trying to be a little bit careful. You can see Esteban Ocon might have actually completed a move there. He has, so he's found his way around Max Verstappen. And that's left the Dutchman on the back foot against Lando Norris as well, as we make our way up towards the top of the circuit. Just want to take it nice and easy on lap 1 here, as I think Oscar Piastri has held on to that lead at the start. But a disastrous start for Max Verstappen then, who was going to lose another spot here. This time round to Lando Norris. Through, whoa, that corner, running very wide there, so clearly in the dirty air, full fuel in the car, very difficult to try and get that one absolutely nailed. But I'm intrigued then, could the AI actually be on a 2-stop strategy here? I need to wait for lap 2, I believe, before I can get any tyre information, so we'll try and cross the start-finish line then, as Oscar Piastri leads the way just ahead of George Russell. As Alex Albon very bravely trying to look for a move down the inside at turn 1. Not quite going to allow him to do that. So Colapinto is really hassling Max. This seems to be where we're seeing a lot of the overtakes going on early on, but I think again you're going to need DRS assistance to try and get a big run on the car ahead of you, as Verstappen tucks up behind his teammate there. As all Colapinto rather slow. We will take that opportunity immediately. You don't know how many options you're going to get. Down the inside of Franco Colapinto we will go, and the Argentinian back down to where he started then in P8. But that's exactly what you've got to be doing here. An opportunity opens up, you've got to try and commit to it as best as you can, because, I mean, yeah, apart from turn 2, not really seeing anywhere where you can go for moves. I'm sure we will slowly discover some, as all Verstappen. Big kick of oversteer through there. That might cost him. So we've got yellow flags out, but no car in that sector of the circuit. Looks like I think a Haas has broken down, or has perhaps just gone for a spin then. No idea what's happened there, but they're back on the road. They're continuing on. Well, I don't know what's going on with Red Bull at the moment, but they are really struggling around this venue then, as Verstappen just cannot find a way around Esteban Ocon. We will try and have a look to the outside, though, of the Dutchman. Surely not through there. We just get the wheels on the grass. Move's not done yet, Mark, but we will get back down the inside through turn 3. And I'm sure the Dutch fans will not want to be seeing that there. Verstappen overtaken by his former teammate, but, I mean, yeah, pass on the grass debatably there, but we got it slowed down, and we are through it up into 6th. Surely Ocon going to be a little bit more vulnerable without the DRS, but Lando Norris already 5 seconds up the road. Well, I've just taken a couple of laps to sit back a little bit from Esteban Ocon, as that's another corner where we really do seem to have a line figured out against the AI. But I mean, look at that, round the outside through the banking there. Now we're really going to upset him off the exit of the corner, and wheel to wheel we will go back in towards turn 1. And Ocon, he can't handle it. Esteban Ocon backing out then and dropping into P6 in this race, so could he end up being a bit more vulnerable to his teammate quite soon? I'm surprised Red Bull haven't told them to do a switch already before I got involved in the fight, but let's now see if we can try and close in on Lando Norris.
4.5 seconds.
Yeah, that's exactly the gap we want to close in, but how far will the AI go on this set of tyres? Oh, there we go, Charles Leclerc finally the first one to blink. So at least we've got an idea as to what is going on then in this GP, as Leclerc will be our first car into the pit lane.
Soon, so stay on your toes. Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap.
Verstappen also in then, as I'm going to try and leave the car in 7th gear through turn 1. It seemed to work quite nicely for us, but yeah, we're going to dive in now.
By about 3/10 a lap. Well done.
So you can already see we've got a 2.5 second gap over Esteban Ocon, as I think the Williams just beginning to struggle as well.
That's Isaac in the pits.
Yeah, tyre wear hasn't been too bad throughout the first half of this Grand Prix, but I think everybody being on the same compounded tyre, I reckon our battle towards the end is going to be with Verstappen behind, rather than the Ferraris and the Mercs in front. Oh, I've got to try and remember to dive into the pit lane. It's going to be such a dangerous pit lane entry, just with an exposed wall at the end of it, but actually once you get the car tucked in, it's not actually too bad here, as obviously we've got George Russell and Lando Norris into their own pit boxes, so we might just have held up Norris a little bit there on pit lane entry, but I mean, we're just facing a staircase. Oh, of course.
We need to try and put that behind us though and finish this race strong.
How many times does that happen inside this game? As there goes Max Verstappen then. I mean, the pit lane exit is also a little bit sketchy because you're coming right back out onto the racing line, but luckily the Dutchman hasn't been able to undercut us. We've just got to try and get temperature into these tyres. Oh, here we go, Max Verstappen. He's got a huge run on me back down in towards turn 1. The Dutchman, how on earth did he get that kind of straight line speed over us? And there we go. Not really a lot we can do about him. Maybe he's going to have the pace to try and close back up to Norris and co by the end of the GP. So I'm going to try and hang on to his coattails as best as we can. But yeah, I just think the Red Bull was pretty bad on its set of soft compound tyres early on. Now he's maybe starting to come alive. Oh, Verstappen, just a little kick of oversteer there. Are we going to be close enough to try and hound him again back in towards turn 1? I'm not going to give up on this without a fight unless I absolutely have to, as round the outside we'll go. Oh, wheel to wheel through the banking again, and surely not for the second time today. We keep the car inside track limits to the inside again there, and that was brave, brave stuff to try and get back around Max Verstappen. I mean, I say, well, I'm basically meaning that neither of us will get to those Ferraris by the end. But like I said, if we can hang on ahead of him, huge points in the championship. Oh, we've got yellows. Someone's gone. Don't know who it is, though. Is that a McLaren? Yes, it is. I think that might be Carlos Sainz, then. That is going to be our first retirement of the day. And disappointment once again for the McLaren man. Of course, blew up in the Silverstone reverse race. And it looks like he's had another one here. McLaren's reliability recently has been rather patchy inside this series. And, of course, it helps us in the World Championship swing. Annoyingly, it does help Albon in the Drivers' Championship, but, you know, that's kind of by the by. Well, I was waiting for an opportunity like the one Nico Hülkenberg has just represented to us, and there we go. Max Verstappen out of the DRS detection now, so will Esteban Ocon be able to hound his teammate towards the end of the GP then? It will take a couple of laps for the second Red Bull to kind of wind it up. You can see though, we've got yellows. No idea who that is. The yellow flags seem to be very broken around this version here, as I think that might be a Williams or an Alpine going slowly. It's Esteban Ocon out of the GP, so it was the Red Bull, sorry. So there we go, Verstappen definitely not going to get jumped by his teammate towards the end. Well, the fact that we've been able to hold up Max Verstappen right the way through to the end, and it's not even like we're having to defend from him super aggressively here. We've just had fantastic pace around this circuit. One more lap to go then here from the Dutch Grand Prix, and I tell you what, this place and the reverse layout is so much fun. I could be tempted to do a double header here next season, depending on kind of what we're up to and everything like that inside this game. But yeah, this place now really, really enjoyable on this layout. I mean, the hard compound tyre could have probably done the full race distance, which is a rather impressive feat, but yeah, unfortunately, never was going to be able to take 5 seconds out of Lando Norris inside the final few laps here, but we have done a very good job to continue bringing this gap down. But once again, it is going to be Oscar Piastri who wins yet another reverse race this season. Super adaptable, the Australian, and he'll be very, very happy with the victory. Mercedes bag another one too. They've come back after the summer break and clearly still maintain that big lead they have in the World Championship. Ferrari, they will follow them home in P3 and P4, but back-to-back points at 2 circuits I hate inside this game. We are really, really building up some momentum late on this year.
And an award-winning day for Oscar Piastri as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
There was never a moment of doubt today. You could tell that they completely had it under control, and that is a sign of greatness.
It's what every driver imagines when they start out on their long road towards Formula One. And for our lucky 3 today, here's the podium waiting for them. They give out trophies for the winners. Today, they're Oscars. Your winner today, Oscar Piastri.
Well, there we are then. Oscar Piastri, pole position, race victory. He made it look pretty simple this weekend, didn't he? Here at the Dutch Grand Prix. George Russell will come through for P2. His pace towards the end actually was very, very impressive. Just spent far too much time battling the Ferraris too early on. Ferrari, Charles Leclerc in P3, just ahead of Lando Norris, with myself in P5 there. Verstappen ahead of Albon, Ollie Bearman, Pierre Gasly and Franco Colapinto means that both Williams able to take home some points this weekend as well. Disappointment once again for Isaac Hadjar. I think I'm going to have to do a few more races as him in the near future there, as Esteban Ocon and Carlos Sainz both failed to see the checkered flag. What does that do to our World Championship? Well, it means now George Russell a 65-point lead up at the top of the table. Oscar Piastri 90 back, so I think he's going to need a bit of a miracle to get into the fight by the end of the year, but he does re-jump Verstappen once again there. 1 point in it now between our two drivers, as Tsunoda 3 points ahead of Alexander Albon as well, so I think Albon's going to be a real thorn in our side towards the end of the year, because obviously I want to try and get both drivers ahead of him in the World Championship as well. Further down the order, no real changes, I don't think, by the looks of it. Constructors-wise, Mercedes continue extending that lead as a 71-point deficit to McLaren. We need to average about 8 points out of them every single weekend towards the end of the year. Not optimistic that is going to be the case as well. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. Actually, looking at it, sorry, I've just realised, Ollie Bearman, those points very, very critical as Alpine will jump Haas. But yeah, we'll be back very soon, ready at the Temple of Speed for the Italian Grand Prix.